it's Victoria here, and I'm back with another episode of Black Art History. So today, I'm going to be talking about how to win a Fulbright Award. So I'm actually sporting my SOAS gear. So I was awarded the 2019-2020 Fulbright Award at SOAS University of London. So I was a US-UK scholar. I did a one-year master's program at SOAS, and I was supported by a Fulbright grant. So today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to win a Fulbright Award. 1. Commit to applying. I think this is one of the hardest parts about applying for a Fulbright or any kind of prestigious award. You need to make sure that you're going to follow through with it. The more that you research the award, the more competitive it sounds, the more you think you're unqualified. And I think for me, at my university, I actually had to sign a waiver saying that I was going to go through with my application. So it just really makes sure that you're committed, you're going to give it your all. So that's that first step for you, committing to it. 2, find your team. Applying to a Fulbright is not something you can just do on your own. Some schools actually don't even allow you to apply without their support. So you need to tell a few people that you're applying. For me, that was really difficult because I didn't want a bunch of people to know I was applying and then potentially not get it. But you need to tell people, and you need to have other people reading your letters of interest and a lot of different components. So for me, what I did was I had the school, my undergrad read it. I also picked a couple people who were in academia that I knew outside of my university, and I had my friends read it over with me. I just kept working on it and working on it. I actually had to completely rewrite the whole thing when I got to school in the fall after working on it in the summer. So really be receptive to criticism on how to fix it, and I think that will go a long way in working on your personal statements as well as your statements of grant purpose. So if you're not already aware, there are 2 major Fulbright types. So there's the English Teaching Awards and there's the Research Study Award. So I won a Research Study Award, so it required me to submit a personal statement and then a statement of grant purpose. So the personal statement is about myself and why the Fulbright experience would be life-changing, why it fits into my overall career goals, and then the statement of grant purpose really goes into the academic component of my application, what my research questions are, who I want to work with. And I would say if you can also include a letter of affiliation. So I was able to reach out to a professor via Skype before even beginning before actually submitting my application, which I think went a long way in actually being awarded the awarded the grant at the end. 3rd is do your research. So for me, I didn't know that much about UK universities, but I knew that I really wanted to study African art. So for me, SOAS was the perfect place to study that. I was in London. It was going to give me a really great cross-section into the Black Atlantic, having come from the US. So that's where all the scholars were. So for me, SOAS was the clear choice for art history, but you also want to make sure that you're going to the right university. I think when you're first researching UK or international schools, you might just know a couple names from movies or just in passing, but there's so much to learn about international education. So just make sure you do your research and find which university is right for you and meets your needs. Step 4, convey the dream. So I think the biggest part of crafting your Fulbright application is to make sure that every part of your application is pushing towards an end goal, which Fulbright is a necessary linking component. So you need to prove a case as to why you must go where you want to go and why this program is the only thing that will fulfill that for you. So for me, School of Oriental and African Studies had one of the best African Studies departments. It had a department with a professor who was lecturing specifically on an artist I was interested in, who was from the US. The artist also lived in my home state in the US and went to my university. So I was able to craft my application so that I was able to add components of myself, also components of my research, and then my end goals of pursuing a career in the arts. And the Fulbright would be the financial backing, the support, the leadership skills, international experience that will allow me to achieve those goals. So it needs to be very specific, in my opinion. I think anything broad and general, it's not going to stand out, because at the end of the day, these are very competitive awards. Most people have great applications as well. I think that's something you have to keep in mind. It's not only does everybody have already, put in a good application like for college, it's everyone has been vetted by their universities, has gotten at least 3 letters of recommendation from professors, and in the case of people who are doing study research, in addition, have gotten letters of recommendation and applied to the university. So for me at that stage, it was already 5 letters of recommendation, an application to graduate school, and the Fulbright. So at that point, you realize the people that you're also applying against are very well qualified, and they're also very passionate about doing the program. So you really need to prove a strong case as to why you should be selected. And I think that's the thing with these UK grants, is there is one person selected. It's not like, oh, how many people are at SOAS? I was the person at SOAS. And so you're that representative from the United States at that university through the grant. So keeping that in mind as well when you're crafting your application. And I would say the last tip would be to apply for other things. I think the hardest part about the whole Fulbright application was waiting. I applied in October and I didn't hear back until the end of March. And as a college senior, that was really stressful. So I would make sure that you're really applying for a lot of other programs, because all the other backups that I actually applied for the Fulbright fell through, but the Fulbright worked. So I think you just want to make sure that you have other things ready to go so that you don't feel so stressed about the application. I started having some confidence when I first applied, and then when I had the interview in February for the second round, I thought I had bombed the interview, and actually had progressed to being selected as the grantee. But I think there was that period from February onward where I was convinced I had not gotten the grant, and I was a little concerned about what I was going to be doing after I graduated. So I would make sure that you have other things lined up, just because the grant is so competitive. And even at those backup plans that you put in place, have backup plans. And that's kind of my story on how I prepared my application. If you want to hear more about the specifics of how to write the personal statement, how to write the statement of grant purpose, and also how to talk to professors about letters of recommendation, applying to a UK graduate program, and how really to make yourself the best candidate and prepare the best application that you can. Thanks everyone for listening. Comment down below. Let me know if you want me to make more videos on how to apply for the Fulbright. Stay tuned for more videos on my experience in the art world and reflections on my time in London as a Fulbright scholar. Thanks guys.